I'm here to talk about digital marketing, but specifically digital marketing as it relates to hospitality. And you might think, well, how is this necessarily relevant for what you do? Because a lot of the presentations we have seen so far have kind of been high-level skills across all industries. But I think that it's important to see what other industries are doing, what other verticals are doing, so you can learn from them, because they might be doing something a little bit differently. So there's a real opportunity there. And the other thing I think that is interesting is travel as an industry. It was one of the first industries to fully go digital. If you think about it, before digital, how are people booking their trips? They're contacting a travel agent. Call a travel agent, call them, then they'd get the information in the mail, and they'd book it. You can't touch a trip. You can't touch a hotel stay. And that's why travel overall was really the first one to successfully make the leap. Now, this presentation I'm doing might have some industry jargon as it relates to hospitality. So I'll look at your faces to see if I say something that, and I'll try to rephrase it because I'll try to clean that up. All right, so me, who am I? I'm Michael Goldrich. I'm the Chief Experience Officer of a company called the Hotels Network. At the Hotels Network, I represent the voice of the customer. And for us, our customers are hotels, similar to where you're staying right now. We are a marketing technology platform that has three components. We have a learning part where hotels can compare how they're doing against their competitors from a digital perspective on their websites. We have an AI component that then looks at these learnings and then says, here's some recommendations on how you drive revenue, how you drive bookings. And then our third part of our platform is tools that hoteliers can use to leverage the analytics, leverage the AI, and actually optimize and create messages that are targeted and personal that can actually ultimately convert a guest. So before I was at the Hotels Network, I worked 20 years in the hotel industry for big brands like Wyndham, Starwood, that became Marriott, smaller brands. But the one thing that's been pretty much consistent across all the roles I've had, always digital, always marketing, always e-commerce. So I'll talk briefly about the Hotels Network. We're called the Hotels Network because we're a network of hotels, actually. We're over 14,000 around the world. And each year we collect hundreds of millions of anonymized user interactions that we provide to the hotels for them to have precise targeting so they can really target the guests on the website. And because hospitality is personal, we personalize the guest experience. We make sure that the hotel can deliver the right message at the right time to the right person on the right device. So that's what we do. So what am I going to talk about today? So I'm going to talk about digital marketing trends that I share with the folks on the hospitality area. Some of these, like number 2, probably more hotel focused, but I think 50% of the people here are doing it. So it's actually pretty interesting. Each one I'll talk about some of the challenges and then some of the strategies related to it. So let's go with brand engagement. So when the pandemic started, there was a number of studies done that people are less loyal. People are less loyal to their hotel brands. But what they were doing is they were studying people that just stopped traveling. So Cornell University did a study that said, we should survey people that are still traveling and see what their sentiment is. And what they learned was something a little bit different. And they learned that, yes, the most frequent travelers are not traveling, but the people that travel typically infrequently are actually more brand engaged versus the people that are the power travelers are less brand engaged. So what does this mean? What it means is the people that travel the most, the people that are most engaged are the ones on the hotel loyalty programs, and they are less loyal to the brands. Whereas the people that travel the least, that are seeing the highest brand engagement, they're not on any loyalty programs. So there's a disconnect between what the hotels are trying to do with loyalty programs and guest loyalty. So what should they do? Well, I think what the hotels should do is they should rethink their loyalty programs and make them more rewards programs. Make them focused on rewarding people for their stays, particularly for the people that travel less frequently. trip stacking. All right, this is one of my favorite ones so far. So what is trip stacking? And this is what I said 50% of you do. And this actually is an outcropping of what happened in the pandemic. So during the pandemic, when people were booking their trips, invariably they would get canceled. They got canceled because someone had COVID at home, there was COVID at the destination, there were airline issues. So what did people start to do? People started trip stacking because they wanted to be guaranteed a vacation. So they booked multiple trips for the same time periods for the stay date where they would leave and when it would come back. So they'd have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. So they could be in 3 different locations and they would cancel 2 of them knowing that they were going to get their vacation. So the guest, the traveler, is going to have a vacation, but the hotel, they're thinking they got the booking, that person's going to come, but there might be like a 1 in 3 chance that booking's actually going to arrive. So what can a hotel do? And this is something to think about, it's about adding an experience. So what a hotel can do, and there's a company called Peak, PEEK.com, is sort of like the Airbnb of experiences. And if a hotel can add an experience when the person is booking, then stay with them, there's a better likelihood that that person will pick them, all things being equal, if nothing happens otherwise. So they can move from a plan C, plan B, to be a plan A. Doing more with less. So doing more with less, you hear about this a lot. And actually earlier this year, I went to a number of roundtables in the hotel industry with the chief marketing officers, the chief digital officers, the chief revenue officers. And they all surveyed them and said, what are your focuses for this year? And out of the top 2, doing more with less was something that everyone talked about. So doing more with less means something different to everybody, but for hotels, and I'm sure it's similar to other industries, when you think about the marketing budget. Marketing budget is how they do it is you have the same budget year to year. So even though things are getting substantially better this year than they were before, hotel owners say you're going to have a flat budget. So why is that a problem? Well, if you look here, you might have a flat budget, but the costs for media are going up. So with your budget that is flat, you're actually getting less exposure. So this is a problem, and this is probably something that in other industries you face as well. So how do you deal with that? What is a potential solution? And one of the potential solutions is targeting and personalization. So what I did is I work with a number of our customers in Europe and in the United States, and I did an A/B test. I split the traffic of the media. Half the media saw personalization, half of them didn't. And then we measured the results. And what were the results? I mean, we knew the results would be pretty good, but the results were people who saw personalization saw a 24% increase in actually conversion. So in terms of return on investment, because that's how hotels look at everything in terms of ROAS, is the ROAS went from 6-to-1 to 8-to-1 in these situations. So with a flat marketing budget, they were actually able to generate more revenue by applying personalization. And that's just a slide as to demonstrating the various budgets. So another component of doing more with less, and you've encountered this probably all over the place, is less staff. So how are you going to deal with a lean team or a junior team? Well, there are a number of different ways to cope with this. One thing is with the pandemic, with people working remotely, people are now comfortable being kind of like the digital nomad. And for hotels that were used to actually having everybody huddle around and be able to see everyone, they were less trusting in the past. People working remotely, people started working remotely. And they know that they can be comfortable with people working remotely. In addition, when people were working remotely on the hotel side, they all had their side hustles. They were using their marketing skills to help other industries. So as a result of this, what hotels can do now, in the past when they were understaffed, they would have to get a contractor and it'd be expensive and they'd have to have the retainer for a month to month. Now, hotels are comfortable going to sites like Upwork and they have a little project to work on or something like that. And they could be more project specific versus just filling a gap. So they can just plug the holes that way. The other way of dealing with lean teams is with AI, and this is hard to see, but basically leveraging artificial intelligence, making recommendations. So in the past, when you have an experienced team, they can kind of look at the analytics and be able to see, okay, this is what we should do in terms of driving revenue. Here are things that we should do to reduce costs. Now, if this can all be automated, you don't need those experienced people, so to speak. You can just need the team that can actually implement what the suggestions are. So benchmarketing. So benchmarketing is actually a term I saw. It's actually benchmarking and marketing put together, not a typo. So our company, what we do is we do benchmarking. So that's part of the analysis part, where we have the hotels can look at their competitor hotels on the direct website and see how they're doing. And then there's a decision that can be made. When you see how you're performing, where do you focus your time? Where's the marketing focus? If you know you're doing better or worse in a certain area, and also by device, do you invest in areas where you are weak, and focus on, say, mobile on the booking engine, or do you focus on areas where you're strong? So that's sort of the benchmarking is, do you focus on areas where you feel like you can continue to grow, or do you want to shore up areas and where you feel like the competition is stealing your share? Removing invisible friction. So in terms of removing invisible friction, we have the booking funnel. So for hotels, the booking funnel is such that you go to the hotel website, you go into the search the dates, and then you're into the booking engine, and then you book. So as we look at it is how easily does a hotel website get somebody into that search, and then once they're in the search, how do they book? And then what are the overall conversion rates of that? And in terms of friction, you can then look at where your hotel is doing against their competitors, against the proximity, against lookalike hotels. And then you have a decision to make. Again, it's always a decision. Do you want to focus on your hotel website, or do you want to focus on your booking engine? The hotel website, just kind of fills the funnel of the booking engine, but the booking engine is where people actually transact. So which area do you want to focus on in terms of this friction? Payments. So in the hotel industry, there are pretty much two large players that do all the booking engines, that control the booking engines. And they don't take Apple Pay or Google Pay. So the challenge here is that we've seen a high degree of disconnect between people on mobile and people on desktop. And we're actually seeing in the industry a 50-50 split of people hitting the websites on mobile and desktop. So you are now losing on the mobile site a lot in terms of friction. And why are people dropping off because of mobile? They're dropping off because they might be uncomfortable with entering their information on the phone. They may not want to pull out their credit cards to enter all the information, or just entering the information is a real pain in the neck in terms of putting little numbers on your phone. So some of the solutions for invisible payments, so to speak, are they're integrators on top of these booking engines that take Apple Pay and Google Pay. These are new, and then that allows a mobile wallet. And then the other thing is the buy now, pay later, which you've seen a lot of ads on TV, which also you don't have to enter your information. So we see that these things, these components will start to increase the mobile conversion as well. And then this is something across all websites, not just the hotel industry, is just page load. So Google announced, I think 2 years ago, that they're going to start to index pages based on speed. So you have 2.5 seconds to load, or else they will not, they will not index you appropriately. So in the past, before that happened, the common wisdom was people are in a page. If it takes more than 2.5 seconds to load, they're going to just drop off. That was the penalty, people dropping off. Now, Google penalizes you. So you have to get your speed up for your website. And so before, a fast site used to be a competitive advantage. Now a fast site is just a competitive necessity. It is a cost of doing business. And the only way to really find out how your website is doing, and it is not per site, it is per page, is to load Google Core Vitals. And you need to look at it not by device, not just by page, also by device. You have to look at a desktop, tablet, and mobile. Personalization. All right, so this is one of the things my company does very well. So what we do is we allow hotels the ability to target people precisely. So we know when you're searching a hotel website, so the day, so like today, we know the month. We know the dates that you're searching in the booking engine. So we can target you based on the dates. We know the size, whether you're traveling alone, as a couple, or as a family, and that information becomes visible once you're in the booking engine. We don't know that before that. Visitor profile. We know if you are international or domestic, what state you're in, and then we can message you accordingly. We also know what website you're coming from before you went to the site, so then we can have messaging there that's appropriate. In addition, we know that if this is your first time visiting the site, second or third time. And then we also have a number of custom targeting as well, where you can embed our logic into paid search. So we know exactly what ad you're coming from, what email campaign you're coming from, so you can serve that up as well. So let's talk how this works. How does this play out? So imagine it's July 4th. So we're in Washington, D.C. So July 4th. So imagine you're on a hotel website and it's July 4th and you put in 2 people, July 4th, Washington, D.C. Well, what will serve up is July 4th, a romance package, because there are 2 people. Say, after you enjoy the fireworks, we will deliver champagne to your room. Again, you didn't say you're a couple, but you just said there are 2 people traveling. So we make an assumption that it is romance, and then we would serve that up. Now, imagine same search, 2 people and 1 child. We assume that's a family. So instead of getting the romance package, we're going to serve up the hotel's July 4th family package. When you book with us, get your glow sticks, get your picnic, and enjoy the 4th on us, and we'll give you a picnic basket or something like that. But again, the same search, but just by changing the number of people that are going, you can change the message, and it's highly personalized, highly targeted, and highly effective. And so we also know how many times you've come back to the site. So say it's the 3rd time and we really want to push that person down the funnel a little bit. We can say 3rd time's the charm, put a countdown timer. Again, we believe about urgency, and just create this. Book this now, you'll get this special deal. So, and now you can think about it. If you are able to target people precisely, typically most websites have one persona that they're designed for. Now you can design to almost an infinite number of personas to think about how you want to capture your audience. And again, it is all about delivering the right message to the right person. Think about the persona that you want to market, and then you can create the imagery, create the words, and then just target them. So for example, I'll give another example of a hotel website. So hotels, there are pretty much two different types of customers that come to a hotel website. There's people that are traveling for leisure, and then there's the people like organizing the event, the meeting planners. The meeting planners want different information from the hotel website than leisure travelers do. But right now, without any sort of personalization or targeting, the hotel website treats everybody the same and probably defaults to the leisure traveler because there's more of them, even though the meeting planner will probably drive more revenue for a meeting if they can book the meeting. So, and right now on most hotel websites, there's only one page that's for meeting planners. And on that page, that has information for them to contact and to organize the meeting. So with targeting, you know that someone is a B2B versus a B2C. If you know that someone is a meeting planner and not a traveler, what can you do on the website? Would you just message them on that one page? Because the meeting planners, they're going to be going all over. They're going to be looking at the photos, they're going to be looking at dining, they're going to be looking at the local area. If you can now target them, then you can hit them with every page. And any page they go to, you can give them a little message. Hotel, give them a link to the hotel fact sheet. You can give them a link to the hotel floor plans. You can give them a link to capacity charts. You can also pop up, or you need help, have the salesperson, like, let us help you book the meeting. You can have a salesperson with the image of the salesperson with their telephone number and their email pop up on any page, pop up on exit. So you can close that sale for the meeting planner and get them to submit the RFP. And then there's predictive personalization. So everyone's familiar with Netflix. Netflix knows the type of information that you like to watch. So with predictive personalization, the hotel website knows. What does the hotel website know? The hotel website knows your intent to book. Are you a low intent or are you high intent? Imagine if the hotel website knew that you were less likely to book. How should the website message you? The website should target you maybe with a deeper offer that you wouldn't see otherwise. Like we call them juicier offers. Versus someone that's a high intent, that's deemed very likely to book. Do you want someone who's very likely to book your hotel? Do you want them to see an offer? Do you want them to see a percentage off? You don't want that. What you want to do is sell those people up. You want to sell them on an upgrade. You want to sell them on an amenity purchase. You want to sell them on a package. You want to drive more revenue with the people that are high intent, and with the people that are low intent, you want to give them the juicier offers. Content and data. So this was so before I was with my company during COVID, I was working for a hotel company, and actually a hotel brand. And the pandemic just was a challenge because we laid off the entire marketing staff, so we went from 10 down to 1. And I had to update content across our CMS, across our app, across our CRM, across our text messaging. I mean, every place, and it was similar content in each place. And I was thinking, this is just incredibly inefficient. And what if you could do something a little bit differently, which was my wish. Well, there's this thing called headless content. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term headless content, but the term headless content means that it's pretty much platform agnostic. So it means that you enter the content one time, and then you can just distribute it wherever you wanted to go. If you wanted to go to the CMS, send it to the CMS. If you want to go to the app, goes to the app. But you just enter it one time, and then you just direct where it goes. So that way, it also makes it very easy to manage. So for example, with COVID, we had to keep changing our cancellation policy. We had to keep changing our cleaning policies as it went through it. And this allows it to just do it in one place. So incredibly efficient process. And then CDP, the customer data platform. So again, with the hotel industry, and I'm sure other industries as well, we have customer data all over the place. The sales team has it in Salesforce. We have it in our CRM. We capture it on forms. There are a number of different places to have it. So now there's a push to integrate all of these data points into a single platform called the CDP. And the CDP is really important for a number of different reasons. Number one, similar to my challenge with content before in terms of distributing it out. Now with data, you have in one place, you can augment it and you can like flesh it out, but you can also say, all right, this person likes to be touched with, contacted by text, this one likes email, never call this person. So you can have all the information on the person in one particular place. In addition, that you have these rules like GDPR, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and Canada and California have very strict privacy rules on how you handle PII of people. So by having everything in one specific location, it allows you to manage it. So when they say, I want to see everything you have on me, it's there. If they say, I want all my information back, there it is. You can just take it right out. So this is very efficient, very effective, and I see a lot of companies going that way. So 0 clicks. Not sure if you guys have heard about the term 0 clicks, but what 0 clicks is there's a guy, I guess we're from the guy, Rand Fishkin. So he did a study back in 2020, 2021, that basically said that 65% of all Google searches resulted in a 0-click search. So what does that mean? That means 65% of the people that searched found the answer on that Google page. So what does this mean? This means that if people are finding the information that they need, and Google's doing a very good job on the Google search engine result page, that means where are they not going? They're not going to the website. They're not going to the hotel website. So they may miss out on that conversion. So what can happen? What can someone do? What can a business, or my point of purpose, a hotel do to deal with this trend? And every year, this number, as he put together, keeps getting larger and larger and larger as Google gets better and better at this. There are really 2 things you can do. First thing is create content that can't just be, summarized in a sentence or 2. Create content that make people go to your site to get it. That's really important. And then the second thing is, if you look at your SEO, and that's one of the things the hotel owners kept asking me, is like, why does our SEO keep going down every year? Well, this is the big reason as to our organic search for a hotel. So what can you do if your search to your hotel continually go down year over year? Well, what you can do is you have to convert the traffic you have. You have to do everything in your power to convert that traffic. You got to target, you got to personalize, do whatever you can to make sure that your website is as efficient as possible, because this is a trend that's happening in the industry. Cookies. I think there's a cookie talk tomorrow, so I don't want to steal anyone's stuff, but cookies. So I looked at the Digimarcon site. So cookies, how are you being tracked? So I kind of took there are 2 different types of cookies. There's a first-party cookie, which I'll get to in a second, which is good. A first-party cookie is all about knowing your language, knowing what's in your cart. A third-party cookie, I say, is not great. And that is basically you have no control over that, and they're using that to target you. And then you have session-based cookies, which only are active while the time you're on the site. And then you have cookies that just kind of continue on, ideally up to a year. So this is Digimarcon site in terms of all the cookies that I saw when I took a look at it. CNN, also, all the different cookies that are tracking you. So again, it's first-party cookies. You need the first-party cookies. Or else you'd have a disjointed website experience. Third-party cookies, Google says they're going to get rid of them. Apple and the other Firefox get rid of them, but Apple and Firefox don't have billions of dollars coming through an ad network, whereas Google does. So whether Google does something in the immediate future to kind of get rid of cookies, who knows? It's not really in their interest to get rid of it. So what can you do to prepare for the eventuality that maybe third-party cookies will go away? Because I love third-party cookies for my company. You come to a hotel website and then you leave it. I can follow you around and I can keep tracking you. And retargeting is the most effective way to get you to book. But that's going to go away. So what is a site to do? First of all, when people land on your site, try to get as much information about them as possible. Get as much first-party information so you can market them, so you can do the email targeting that we saw with those 18 great points and 2 bonus items. The other thing is contextual. Contextual advertising is going to be a thing. So for example, if you read an article about Wimbledon, so you're going to see ads along the side, maybe about London, maybe about tennis shoes. So you're going to see a wave of contextual advertising probably replacing cookies in the future. And then Web 3. So what is Web 3? So Web 1 started in the late 90s and went to 2004. And that was pretty much taking all the company's web marketing collateral and just sticking it online. So that was pretty much Web 1. It was very flat, very business focused. Then Web 2 started about 2004. You're able to upload and download content. You're able to post comments. It's called like the social media web. That's 2004 is kind of when Facebook and them started to really get involved. So now Web 3. What's Web 3? So Web 3 is based off a blockchain. So when you look at blockchain, what is it? So I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Blockchain is essentially like a universal ledger that's accessible anywhere. Each ledger entry is called a block. And each ledger entry is related to a previously ledger entry. So they are blocking on top of each other. So each one references the one before. So you have a ledger entry, then when you have a new ledger entry, it's related to the one before it. So you can't erase it. You can't, it's highly anonymized, and it's going to be the backbone of what the new web will be. The only way you can access your information, really, in the blockchain world will be with a special digital key. So I was at a conference last week where the Meta folks were talking, and they say, like, they're talking about the metaverse and all that, but they say it's about 10 to 15 years away, but they believe right now we're in a bridge period of which the 2D apps are kind of bridging to 3D. So, so what I've told the hotel folks in terms of blockchain, because they all kind of look at me blankly, is just to educate yourself, to be aware, because we're still at the very beginning. As you see with all the cryptocurrency, everyone was like big on cryptocurrency. Now cryptocurrency is kind of down, but that stuff will come back, and how the framework of how we all interact in the future will be based off of something like this, and to look out for disruptors. So how we interact now is going to change. As you see in Web 1, who knew before 1995 that this is what the world would be like? And then who knew in 2004 how it would be with social media? So you can't really imagine what it's going to be. But you do know that with blockchain, there won't be centralized control that there is now. It'll be much more decentralized. And then when it comes to the metaverse, it's, I think about Starbucks. So when Starbucks was pushing their marketing, they said that they wanted to be the third place. And what does the third place mean? If you imagine the first place is your home, that's where you spend the most time. The second place is work. Third place, they wanted to be the coffee shop. So in the future, the fourth place will probably be, everyone will have like a little metaverse type home where they can put stuff that they bought online and decorate it with pictures of their family. Got my little family picture up there. You can invite your friends over as people are all remote. But it's going to really change also how the whole hospitality industry also markets itself, because now people can kind of virtually visit, whereas right now the team here probably had to come in and walk the space to see if it was right for this meeting. Now you can do a whole virtual experience. You can also do a virtual experience to the destination, not only for meetings, but also it's going to be with travelers as well. It's like, this is a place I want to go to. It'd be another way to kind of feel it out. So in summary, here are the trends that we see that are impacting the hotel industry. I think that there are some of these trends I think might sort of resonate with some of you in terms of other verticals. And that's me. And if you have any questions, I'm here, but that's it.